I wanted to get cozy for this video to introduce some layers of irony. Irony hammer. Today's whole video revolves around the concept of discomfort and being not cozy. Something I think we can all agree, being uncomfortable sucks. But lately I've been thinking about discomfort in a new way because I think I am peak uncomfortable right now. And I don't know that that's a bad thing. And I've been thinking about why that is, what I can do to get comfortable, but also, do I even want to get comfortable? Maybe there's a reason why I need to experience this lack of peace or contentment right now. Maybe there's something in it for me. So today we're just going to explore the differences between good discomfort and fear. Let's see this through. And I feel like RuPaul because gym shorts under the judges table right now. Upon first glance, being uncomfortable is a bad thing. We don't want to be cold. We don't want to be hot. We don't want to be challenged too much emotionally. We want to feel generally homeostatic. But what makes that satisfying if it's not for moments of extreme or mild discomfort to provide a reference point for how it could feel versus how it does? You have to pee for a long time and then you finally pee. Bro, a lot of things that make you better as a person are really uncomfortable to do. Progress is not convenient a lot of the time. The ability to power through discomfort or even power through, I don't know if I feel that way because I think it actually is like leaning into it. Kind of face it in very stark terms and you're looking at it in the eye and you're like, I'm uncomfortable right now. And then you realize that that's like the worst. That's the worst part, is that you're uncomfortable. It doesn't really get worse than that. Full stop. There's nothing else. It's okay. You're just uncomfortable. It's okay. And there's obviously things that are uncomfortable that are bad. A lot of the things that I have in my life that make me uncomfortable, and I don't think there's benefit to the discomfort of having them, are the remedies that I'm applying to just the big sad. Like pacifiers or things I do to stop feeling the big discomfort of you're alive. So a few of these things are the classics: alcohol and work and my phone. I think a lot of people probably use these same devices in the same way. Before I even talk about this though, I don't have substance abuse problems, so I hope I don't speak about it in a way that's like too nonchalant. But if this type of thing triggers you, then maybe this is not the video for you. I have found these little pacifiers in my life. It's challenging with because maybe I should be saying gardening. I'm gonna say gardening. I have been gardening since I was like too young to garden, for sure. I use it in certain ways, and over time I've started to realize that maybe it's not as helpful as I've told myself that it is. So I use gardening to be creative. It focuses me and like revs me up into one very specific thing, and so it's very easy to fall into rabbit holes, which is great if I'm working on a song or need to get something done by a deadline. If I garden a little bit, baby, I'll be done in half the time. I also won't have eaten any food, had any water, or done anything else besides like worked on the project after I come up from that 5-hour spree of working or whatever it is. I feel uncomfortable in the sense where I just like can't function at capacity anymore because I've dumped all of my happy chemicals into the thing I was working on. I just lobotomize myself. And the whole reason I'm even gardening in the first place is to feel really inspired to work, which is my other vice. I work on overdrive because I think if I do enough, I'll finally cross this imaginary threshold where I feel secure financially, which I don't think that exists. I guess I use work as a vice to feel like I'm mobilizing myself within the class system upwards. So I think my mentality about it is if I do enough or if I do the right thing, I'll finally have, again, this imaginary metric of respect from my peers, or I'll feel comfortable socially finally. Like that would really do it for me. When I know logically that's not the case. And whenever people have that mindset, they get to those goals and they realize that nothing's ever enough. That's distracting me from the discomfort of feeling inadequate around other people or feeling like I haven't done enough in my career, whatever it might be. Alcohol's a weird one too, because it can help me lubricate socially to the point where I get involved in conversations that I never would be in sober. My social anxiety tends to disappear with enough alcohol. And in the past, that's helped me meet people, make profound friendships sometimes. It's helped me get opportunities with work sometimes, but then the next day I feel uncomfortable, like taking a breath feels uncomfortable. Sneezing feels like uncomfortable. I'm hiccuping all day. That's uncomfortable. I can't be a good member of my community if I'm hungover. I can't mobilize if I'm hungover. I can't do anything if I'm hungover. So it does bad things to your body. We know this now. It's just not good for you. And then the phone. I don't know if you've heard, but people are getting kind of scary with how much time they're spending on their screens. I'm people. If I added up all the time that I mean, there's an app for this and I intentionally turn that off because truthfully, I don't even want to know because of what I do for work. And most of my work just happens on a computer screen. But that doesn't mean that I couldn't make it better. And I need to mitigate how much time I spend on my phone doing that nobody needs to do, like watch some brain rot video from Nutter Butter. But it provides this window to everything. It satisfies a spiritual need to like ascend. The most complicated mechanisms we have on earth to do things, to create things, or to learn things are through the internet. And so, wow, I'm doing something that never could have been dreamed before. And it's a casual Tuesday afternoon for me. And I'm doing it with crazy efficiency, and yeah, it's not taking me a long time. It's not requiring a whole lot of like physical resources. Like the internet is crazy, man, because you are just like spending time in the ether when you're spending time online. But when you come up from that feels terrible. It's like your brain is calcified. It's like you ate starbursts through your eye sockets. The discomfort of just me being me, I'm running away from that by chasing all these other little vices that help for a second, and they give you the dopamine rush that you need to kind of forget about that for a sec, but then they leave you feeling worse off because they've depleted you of your energy to really critically think about what's actually going on and how you feel, how you actually feel. Let's see. Do you like that? Is that good or is that bad? You tell me. You tell me in the comments. I am feeling silly today. Feeling very silly. I've been gardening heavily. And I'm feeling how I feel like I wish I felt. I feel like oh no. I feel like the way I want to feel when I'm gonna like record a video or go out and talk to people or anything, because silly's good. I want to be silly. I want to be more silly in general. My goal is to get sillier. I'm cooking. I'm gonna cook a meal. And I figured that while I was cooking, it would be a good time to talk about things I feel uncomfortable with about like my safety, which I didn't realize even safety is part of it, but I'm realizing that on the fly. For a lot of my teenage years, I guess like post understanding that I was different from everybody in terms of my sexual orientation, I spent a lot of that time feeling unsafe because I was just from a small town. The attitude towards queerness when I was young was definitely not favorable. So I spent a lot of time feeling unsafe because of that, and I think I have had a hard time accepting safety even when it is the case. And obviously there's lots of ways to be unsafe, but even if everything was perfect, I would have a hard time, I think, feeling safe just because it wasn't part of my experience in some pretty formative years. So I live in Los Angeles. Cheers. This looks like a cup of hot urine. Not great. Kind of tastes like it too. These days I feel safe in terms of like being a gay man. I don't feel unsafe on a daily basis. It's expensive to live here, which is kind of what I had planned to talk about, is that, you know, the financial security here is hard to come by, and I am a musician by trade, so money's not always flowing. So I'm getting used to relaxing about that. I have noticed that when I have very little money, I don't feel relaxed about it, of course, but when I have enough money to make life work, I also don't feel particularly safe. So I think about my career these days more than I think about music and the act of creating music as like a joyful thing. I would say the business part gets more of my time. I spend more time editing or in a Google spreadsheet than I do creatively, I guess. And there's a season for everything. Like, I'm sure someday, soon, that circumstance will change and I'll be able to spend more time thinking about, like, the stuff that I really do want to be thinking about. Right now, it's just, like, the season is calling for me to be really present in getting the business together. So here we are, getting the business together. But I'm taking a break from that to cook myself a meal, because that's very important to do or else you'll die. If you don't eat, you're gonna die. So I'm taking an hour or so to not do it. I guess I'm looking for ways in my life to make these things that I have to do that are necessary for my survival, whether it's cooking or driving somewhere or working. I would love to find a way for those things to be more enjoyable. I think I would benefit a lot from just slowing down. I know we all feel like this, and I'm like, I know there had to have been a point in history where people, I know there was, because it's like this paintings of people on lakes and like eating grapes. People relaxing. When you read old literature, there's like mention of people just chilling. And I am so unfamiliar with the concept. I know people do it. People do still do it. Ooh, sizzle whizzle. I hate that. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have done that. I have no idea what it's gonna all look like once it pans out. I'm so excited to see. I have no idea how it's actually gonna affect my life yet. So much fun to be curious about it. My friend, and I'll leave you with this. My friend told me an idea that she uses to get through difficult thoughts. I'm gonna cut the sweet potato first, actually, because we don't want any accents. Okay. Oh, I'm doing this the worst way. Gordon Ramsay, I'm sorry. Okay, the potato's ready to be diced. So she said her therapist told her to live in the curiosity, not the fear. And so when you're approaching something like, how am I going to pay rent next month? The idea is to be like, how am I going to pay rent next month? There needs to be some levity to it, because you're not getting anything out of being dark and gloomy about it or being super afraid of something. That's never productive. I mean, worst case scenario, you bring a little lightness into the situation and it still doesn't work out, but at least you didn't suffer the whole time. I really do believe that like the fear of something is so much worse than the actual thing itself. And in most cases. So I just don't want to be afraid anymore. I don't want to be afraid anymore. It's boring and it's not helpful. Who knows what's going to be happening when I post this video in many months, because dear God, right now there's like drones in the sky and some orbs, sci-fi shit. So I don't know what's going to be happening on any number of issues come April, but I don't want to be afraid of it. Whatever it is, don't want to be afraid of it. It is beautiful out here. I'm really happy I came today. I didn't realize that the first Thursday of every month is free entrance at the Huntington Library. So if you didn't know that, now you know. My attention feels very hijacked lately, and that's not something I'm proud of. I don't like that so much of my brain power gets sucked up by things that are candy for the brain. I just went into a gallery before I sat down to film this, and when I was in there, I'm like, damn, I can't look at anything for like more than 5 seconds. Good things are meant to be sat with and cherished, and I'm not even sure I'm able to give that to something right now. So that was kind of a sad realization. Kind of feeds into this whole objective of just getting brain hygiene, mental hygiene, getting my thoughts together, and having the capacity to have good thoughts. I think a lot of creators feel similarly these days, that it's really hard to feel inspired because the downloads are so frequent and so chaotic from the internet and from socials and everything, that it's hard to actually have the space to generate ideas on my own. That's how I feel. And that gets in the way of my relationships, and that gets in the way of just me being happy in general. My goals coming up include just making more space in my brain for new stuff and allowing myself to just have time where I'm not doing anything and where I'm not intaking any stimuli. I think that's really important. I need to be on top of that. When I'm online too, it's not only that I'm just downloading so much information, it's the quality of the information. And when you're reading a book or something, or you're intaking even a movie, or even well done TV, it's like a focused period of time where one subject matter is being discussed. Also, some of the stuff I see online just makes me feel uncomfortable, and I'm investigating why that is. Sometimes it's because I'm jealous of the person, and I need to be really real with myself about the way that I feel when I see my peers sometimes online. That feeling of jealousy, that feeling of lack or want that I think comes up for a lot of us. I don't want that to exist in my life. I don't want to feel that way, and I don't ever want to be even subconsciously preying on someone's downfall because I'm jealous of them. I'm obviously not actively God, I hope that person fails, but when you're saying you're jealous of somebody, you're saying you wish you could take their place. And the truth is, I could never take anybody's place. Nobody could ever take my place. So I just need to be comfortable with who I am. Why is that stuff making me uncomfortable? It's not only feeling the discomfort, it's also investigating, well, why do I feel uncomfortable right now? And then I think the whole point of social media is to keep you comfortable, so you're primed to be sold to, right? So I'll have discussions with people who don't necessarily subscribe to the same views as I do. I'll talk to my dad. We have very different political views. And I'll talk to him, and he's seeing things that I could never even imagine seeing, which makes me realize how much of a bubble I truly live in. What I'm seeing is really just there to keep me comfortable, to reinforce my own belief system, and to make me trust the narrator of that, so that they can push products on me, and so that I'll feel comfortable and settled and primed to buy, to get to the shopping cart. I need to be engaging with thoughts that make me uncomfortable as well. We have stopped seeking out the discomfort of new ideas, and that's a huge problem, I think. I've noticed that a lot of my peers feel the same way, where we feel I don't want to say bored, but stagnated in terms of the media we're consuming. I definitely feel like my algorithms are annoying me at this point, because it's just such a feedback loop, and it's stuff I've already seen or takes I've already seen. Everybody's got the same hot take. And when I talk to someone like my dad, he expresses somewhat similar sentiment, and my friends are saying the same thing. And I'm I think we're all feeling this desire to stretch a little bit. I plan on stretching. By allowing this space, all that extra time, I'll have time to organize my own thoughts, process my own thoughts in silence. How about that? Sit in some silence. See what happens. So how can I challenge myself more? Being more intentional about my phone. There's a million ways to do that, and I need to do all of them. Leaving the house more. I'm not agoraphobic, but I need to leave more. I need to have more conversations that stimulate me intellectually. Call me old-fashioned, but that's how I feel. I'm gonna get some books. Maybe I'll show right here what books I ended up getting after this. I got those 3 books. 3 books, we'll see. Lastly, I can challenge myself in this area by going for more walks. I can just go for more walks. That's not uncomfortable. That doesn't make me uncomfortable. That actually sounds awesome. And I will, after I film this, I'm going to go for a walk. This is the tough one. This is the one that gets the least attention from me because I'm a man and I'm not great at dealing with my feelings. What do I have to say about this? I haven't cried in a very long time. I'm actually trying to think of what the last time is, and I can't think of it. So that is concerning. I want to. It's not something that I don't want to do. When I see somebody crying, I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, listen, I'm not proud of it, and it's not fun. And I'm saying this, I don't tell a lot of people this, as I tell the internet. I don't tell a lot of people this, but yeah, I don't cry a lot, and I wish I did. So if somebody wants to punch me in the no, I need to figure it out. I guess I don't really ask myself how I feel ever, because I think I don't regard it as extremely important, if I'm being honest. And I need to raise the stakes, turn up the volume on my emotional world and say this is important. But I'm jealous of people who know exactly how they feel. I think that's really sick. So I don't know, if you have any tips for like how you got there, leave them in the comments. I would love to hear from somebody being like, baking soda, drink baking soda and you'll start crying. I just, whatever it takes. I need to get a therapist, and I've had therapists before, but nobody's ever hit. Don't be shaming people for not having therapists, by the way. That's some corny behavior. It's, first of all, privileged as second of all, privileged as and third of all, we wouldn't need so much therapy if we ate a meal together once in a while. Y'all are mad at the wrong people. You're not mad at people who don't get therapy. You're mad at people who uphold a system that doesn't allow us to have normal conversations and release with each other. Anger is an emotion that I'm pretty good with. I think when I was growing up, realized I was gay, and I also played hockey for 9 years, and adults were telling me to get in fistfights with other children. But my instinct was to get angry about being gay as opposed to being sad about it. I wore a suit of armor as soon as I came out because I didn't want anybody with me, and I made sure that nobody bullied me or anything by just being the angriest girl alive for like 5 years. If you knew me in high school, that was what I was going through. So thank you for your grace. I'm still working on this. I think I still get angry instead of sad sometimes as a defense mechanism, and I am working on it. So yeah, someday I'll be more emotionally intelligent. Every day I'll be more emotionally intelligent as long as I keep doing uncomfortable things for myself. I need to be grateful for everything I have, because that is peace. That's happiness, is just looking around at what you have and saying, this is great. I'm even looking at this Monstera plant over here right now. She is so luscious. She is so green. I won't get up because I'm comfy right now to show you, but I love you. I love you. And my cat's here somewhere. I love him too. And I love Taco Bell and Sex in the City. I vow to become a more consciously and intentionally uncomfortable person from now on. That's my promise to myself. And when I watch this video back in a year, I hope I will have done a bunch of things that make me uncomfortable. I hope I will have really dug into the fear, because it's not real. Again, the worst thing that can happen is you're just a little bit uncomfortable. It can be a good thing if you see it that way. So I feel like I have a good action plan going forward. And you know what? If you are watching this and you are thinking to yourself, I did something that made me uncomfortable once, put that in the comments, bro. Put that run, don't walk to the comments right now. Type it, spell anything wrong, I don't care. Type that up, spank it on the butt, and press the post comment button, because I want to hear from you. I want to know what you've done in your life to make you uncomfortable, how it made you better, or maybe it made you worse. I don't know. I'd love to hear. If you have gotten this far, throw me a subscribe. Thank you for watching Pasta Water. I have another video coming out in a month. I have 2 other episodes of this out. Yeah, all right. We did it. Go make yourself uncomfortable. Go do something silly publicly. Go fall on your face.